G'day, this is Jim with Urban Self-Sufficiency. Today we're going to look at a horrible fungal disease known as powdery mildew. Powdery mildew is a disease that affects a wide variety of plants, but it's particularly common in cucurbit crops. That's where I noticed it, here in my pumpkins and my squash plants. The disease starts out as lots of little mealy white spots that can be found towards the centre of the plant and also on the underside of the leaves. But it does then spread to the top side of the leaves and throughout the plant, and eventually causes the shrivelling and premature death of the leaves, which you can see here. One of the key factors of causation for this disease is high humidity. This can be exacerbated by watering the plants in the afternoon or evening, and that water sitting in that humid environment overnight. So a good way to help prevent this from happening is actually watering early in the morning, allowing that moisture to soak into the roots where it's needed, and then as the sun rises and throughout the day, that heat will take away the excess moisture through evaporation. The disease can be controlled by using a number of commercially available poisons such as Dynacap or Benamil, but there is actually some really good organic solutions that we're going to have a look at. One in particular is using milk, and in fact a study in 1999 showed that cow's milk can be more effective than Benamil when trying to treat this disease. But before we get into that, the first step is to get in there and cut out the most affected areas of the plant. Once you've cut out the affected areas, go ahead and throw them straight in the trash. Do not put them in the compost bin, as that will just be spreading the pathogen throughout your garden when you go to use that compost later on. You can see I've actually cut away the majority of the affected areas. Now, a lot of these leaves still have some small spots still there. And what we're going to do now is look at how we can contain this fungus from spreading to the new growth when that comes through. And we're going to do that with the organic sprays that I mentioned earlier. The first one is using cow's milk. And this is actually a really interesting one because they believe it's the proteins in the whey that's in the milk that actually is the true hero to this spray. When the sunlight hits those proteins that are in the milk, it actually causes a chemical reaction which creates these oxygen radicals that attacks the fungus and stops it from spreading. So to make the spray, the first suggestion I have is to use unhomogenized organic milk, just because the quality of the milk proteins is going to be better than some of the other brands available, and definitely don't use any low calorie diet milks and skim milks and things like that. So good whole milk with lots of good whole milk proteins. So to mix this up, the measurements are really easy. It's a 1:10 ratio, so for every 1 part of milk you mix in 10 parts of water. In this case I'm using 1/4 of a cup of milk to 2.5 cups of water, just to make enough spray for a one-time use. You then take the milky mixture and spray it over the entire plant, making sure you don't forget about the undersides of the leaves. You can do this about every 7 to 10 days, but don't do it any more than that, because too much milk can actually cause another type of fungus to grow called downy mildew. Alternatively, you can purchase pre-made eco-fungicides. Look for ones where the active constituent is potassium bicarbonate. These are usually also certified organic, so it should be good to use by comparison to the milk recipe that we showed before. The only problem with these is they cost a lot more money. This one here cost me $11 Australian for a 750ml pre-mixed bottle. And finally, the best thing that you can get in your garden to help protect against this mildew is these little guys. These are a mildew-eating lady beetle. In Australia, I believe they're called the Illeis Galbula, and in the United States, they're called Psyllobora. Although they're named differently, they're very, very similar by design. Their shell pattern is almost identical. They both have these dark shaded area and the very bright spots. Although in America, the yellow is more of a creamy to light yellow color as opposed to the very bright colors that we see here in Australia. More importantly though, they both eat the mildew that we're trying to combat against. They're very cute. They're around 3 to 4 millimeters in length. They're quite shiny and they're very active flyers. In fact, when you disturb them, they often just drop and fly away. Anyway, that's all I have time for today. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and please share the video. It helps me out very much, and until next time, take it easy.